Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Nora.
Thank you. That's good, kids. Let's begin. So the first thing, we are working with 1 million cops, and we wanted to do this. We be sure that everybody checked in. If you could please download this app and check in. It's very simple. If you have questions, can you other organizers raise your hand? Please ask any other organizers. We can help you to download the app. But we ask you please do that. So we meet every week. We help entrepreneurs to do better with their ideas. And this happens around the United States. Everybody's meeting maybe today, taking a cup of coffee. We want to be sure that everybody feels comfortable. So when you do recommendations, be sure that it's not an attack. Everybody has to be safe, inclusive. One of the things I wanted to ask you, if you wanted to take photos, would be appreciated. And then please share in your social media and share in our social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. So please share the photos so everybody will know about us. We have wonderful people who support this. And one of them is Office Evolution, who let us use this wonderful room. So I will invite our Office Evolution lady, manager, to let us know about Office Evolution.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Sylvia.
I'm Sylvia with Office Evolution, and I'm the business area manager. And today I want to tell you we have a special promotion. This is the gift of co-working. So if you know someone who's interested in maybe trying out our workspace, they should come to me, because with this card, you can put this in the stocking, and this is 10 times co-working for only $60. This is a really good deal. So if you guys are interested in trying out like our open workspace, just come to me and I give you more information. Okay?
That's
Well,
awesome
thank you.
deal.
And today, the delicious coffee that you're drinking is sponsored by Fairfax County Development Authority. Could you come for a minute?
Yay!
We love you, Karen.
And your coffee.
It's a little bit of weather this morning, but good morning.
Morning.
My name is
Morning.
Karen Schma, and I have the pleasure of serving as Director of Diversity Business Investment at the Economic Development Authority. So the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority is here to help businesses start, expand, and relocate in Fairfax County. Chartered by the Commonwealth of Virginia, the FCEDA is led by a board of county business leaders and funded by the Fairfax County government to promote the county is one of the world's best business locations and to build the county's commercial tax base. The Board of Supervisors uses the commercial tax base to fund high-quality public services for a growing and diversifying population. The FCEDA has 3 business investment divisions: national, international, and business diversity, that work with companies. The FCEDA also has market intelligence and commercial real estate services, as well as a communication division. In addition to its headquarters in Tyson's Corner, we have offices in Bangalore, Mumbai, Berlin, London, Seoul, Los Angeles, and Tel Aviv. Each of these offices assists with the county's business investment efforts. It works with companies interested in establishing operations in the county. If you're interested in relocating or growing your business in Fairfax County, I look forward to speaking with you after the event. Coffee cups up.
That's right.
Today we have a gentleman who has been coming a lot, and I'm so glad that finally he's here. Tell about the company. Dan Lender.
Thanks, everybody.
friendly faces in the audience, and I will try to between quarters there. The name of our company, again, my name is Dan Lennon. The name of our company is GoldenRule HomeWatch and Concierge. We watch empty homes. When people go away, if they're snowbirds, if they have Lord of the home, if they travel vacation, they trust us and hire us to watch their home when they're away. And if I don't speak loud enough, please tell me. Right?
Louder.
Yes, louder. All right. Okay, what's at stake? And by the way, this is one of the houses that we watch here. What's at stake when people go away? It could be valuables, the house itself, pictures, papers, stuff. And if you think about most people, your home is your biggest investment. That's what people have, and when they go away, a lot of people are concerned about what may happen, and a lot of things can happen. I'll show you some pictures of that later. Okay, fire damage, water damage, broken pipes, break-ins, things like that. We don't prevent problems, but instead of finding out about something 3 months later, you might find out about it in a day or a week. And then I'll walk through the process of how we communicate with our clients as well and keep them updated. Weather is very unpredictable. If you're in Saigon, we recently had a client who was in various places in Asia, and they don't get Northern Virginia weather reports, right? So it's imagine if we had another client who was in New Mexico, and they didn't get for a month, and they didn't get weather reports about Northern Virginia. Storms come through, blow shingles off the roof. Storms come through, blow the patio furniture around, break things, limbs come down, things like that. Just think about it, run that play in your head of all the things that can happen. And we're there to intercept those things, and we can remediate and talk to others and fix things if absolutely necessary. Okay. Is my loudness okay?
Yeah. Doing great.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just going to build up this little slide. Okay. So we have this good-looking individual here who may be a neighbor or friend, and the type of slide, what are the options? These are also the objections we get. People ask, like, well, I have a neighbor that does things, or I have a family member that stops in occasionally. So these are the things we hear about. A good intentioned neighbor. This works well until something goes wrong. And it really becomes awkward sometimes if you think about it, if you're watching someone's house and something bad happens to their house, you have to call them. So that can be very awkward and it doesn't work well. Do they visit the home regularly? People often, if you ask somebody on a best case basis, they may stop in when they can, right? Or they have a life too. And so you can't necessarily count on them to be there every week on Monday to spend an hour to send you a written report, et cetera. Do they have a network of vetted contractors? And obviously these are kind of loaded questions towards what we do. We have a lot of contractors we work with, and we work with people that are accountable. And so if someone has a plumbing problem or they have a roofing problem, and we discover it, we can have contact the homeowner and then have the problem fixed. Okay, is this making sense so far?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We also get the question about security. People, well, I have a security camera or I have a Ring doorbell camera. That's great. Or they have a security system. That's great. We encourage those things. But those give you data points. If you're sitting on the beach in Hawaii, or you're sitting on somewhere in Greece, or you're just at the beach in Delaware, and you get a Ring doorbell cam picture, what are you going to do with it? You're going to have to call someone to do something about it. So those are good data points, but that's what they are, data points. So still have to have human eyes and ears and feet on the street to actually go do something about the problem. And the last strategy is hope, which is not much of a strategy. We had a client last year that became a client. Is the previous year, they just closed their home up and went to Florida for 4 months, and the water feed line, the ice maker came loose, and water ran for 4 months. So they came home, it had destroyed all the hardwood floors, it had destroyed, of course the water has to go somewhere, it ran into the basement, and it caused thousands of dollars of damage. And they just, hope is not much of a strategy. So, okay. Okay, a little bit about who we are and why we created the company. My background is I made some updates to that, but I started out as a pharmacist in Western Pennsylvania. I worked at, and I'm still licensed in Virginia and Pennsylvania. I was also a clinical study monitor for a biotechnology company. And then I moved to Virginia a long time ago to get into IT. And I sold software, and I got into, most recently, my career wound up in cybersecurity and cyber threat intelligence, focused on DC state adversarial issues. Very interesting. I worked for a company that was a lot of intrigue. It was involved with the breach of the DNC, involved with Ukraine, and so lot of information there. One of our other partners, that I can't talk about, one of our other partners has had a management consulting business for a number of years. Another partner she's involved with Nova HDI, which is human trafficking awareness. You probably have heard me talk about that. And there's a lot of human trafficking that goes on in Northern Virginia. And the fourth person who happens to also be my wife is an engineer as well. Okay, why we started the company? We saw an unaddressed need in Northern Virginia. No one was doing this. The snowbirds have to come from somewhere. Maybe they go to Florida or maybe they go to Phoenix, but they got to come from somewhere, right? And we looked at that, and we looked at there's a lot of wealth. What you already know, there's a lot of wealth in Northern Virginia and DC. People that we have a client now that has 5 homes, right? And they just travel all around, 4 in the United States, 1 in Europe. And they just travel all the time. But there's a lot of people that have extra homes or a second or third home, and they spend time away from their primary residence. People like to be treated well. Many times, and some of you may have gotten this as well. People thank me for showing up. Thanks for showing up at 10 o'clock when you said you would. I think that should be table stakes. If you say you're going to be there at 10, you should be there at 10, right? People thank you for that. Attention to detail. Because of what we do, we pay a lot of attention to detail. We won't step over a problem to get to the one that they hired us to fix or address, right? So we tend to treat our customers very well. We service the living daylights out of our customers. We hope to always do that, deliver as much in value as we take in compensation. Okay. What do we actually do? Well, we visit a property regularly. It could be every week, every 2 weeks. It could be any number of days to do a top-down interior, exterior check, looking for obvious issues. And every time we go to a house, it should be exactly the same. So when you see, and I have a slide which points out just some of the things that we see. I have many slides of that. Things should be exactly the same. When something's out of whack, like there's water where it's not supposed to be, that tends to catch your attention. Or if there's shingles missing off the roof, that's something that's different. It needs to be addressed, right? We provide individualized, detailed reporting. I have a slide later on about our reporting template that we use. It's not just somebody comes to your house, pokes their head in the door, and says, "Yep, everything's good," and go about our way. We have a detailed template that we can customize to a home. We've had homes with wine cellars, with greenhouses, you name it. Every home's different. Every homeowner is different. What is their most concerning factor? Okay. Of course, we're insured, bonded, and accredited, and everyone that comes to work for us is extensively background checked. Before anyone goes into a house, the GoldenRule name is not by accident. We believe in treating others like we would like to be treated, and we only put the most trustworthy in our clients' homes. And we provide regular communication to homeowners. Okay. Okay, this is probably our most important, or most popular aspect of what we do, and I apologize you can't read all the writing. Every time we're at a client home, we send out a report to them stating what we found. And it's a system of, you can add pictures and details, and again, I can't even read this. But we check everything on the interior. We have a list we go through, interior, exterior, special items. Maybe they want us to check, a lot of times we check automobiles because people go away, they don't drive their car to Phoenix, right? They'll leave their car behind. And if you leave a car sit for several months, the battery will go dead and be ruined, and the tires may go flat, and blah 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 blah. So this is that house that I showed on one of the initial slides. We sent pictures of the yard. People like to know that your house is still standing. Right? They like to know that things are still good. They're very interested in the weather. A lot of our, as silly as it sounds, a lot of our clients are 50 and above, right? So we provide a lot of detail. Our market. And I'm going to speed things up. Our market is Northern Virginia, vacationers, seasonal travelers, owners of more than one home, homes that are part of the state. We have a client now. The adult daughter lives in Colorado. The adult son lives in Texas. The parents have passed away. Their home is in Arlington. They don't know what to do with it. It's been sitting for a year and a half. They pay us to go there every week to check things out. Okay, this is interesting. I'll go through, this is a house, and you can't see the numbers on the laser thermometer, but the air conditioner, the heating was failing. Let's see, this one, we went to a house and the door was left open. The painters come in and painted the doorway, and they didn't close it all the way. So I went over there and the door was wide open. Fortunately, it was on the 4th floor of a townhouse, and it was in, I think, April. So bugs and bats and things and people could have gotten in. This is a house here in McLean. I noticed this stain on the baseboard, and I knew right behind this wall there was a utility room, and I suspected this water tank was leaking, and it was. 7 gallons of water just waiting to unleash itself. And so those can just imagine if no one had been there, this would have flowed the basement, and the water would have kept running, and it would have been a bad situation. Okay. All right. Comprehensive and proactive is what we claim to be. If you look at the objections we get and the systems, I mentioned many of these earlier, we are comprehensive and and proactive, and we go through regularly. We don't wait for problems to go. And these other things, they may tell you that there's a problem, like a door cam or something like that. They may tell you that there's a problem, but they won't necessarily give you any context behind it. You have to lay eyes and ears, and it's amazingly look at what we do sometimes. Eyes and ears, feet on the street, just looking at something and saying, yeah, this is the problem, it's not a problem. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. This is a case study. This is at North Arlington, whom I was talking about. People, the adult children live in other states. Nobody's around. We had to replace the hot water tank, started to leak in that house as well. We find a lot of those. And so we scheduled the plumber, we met the plumber, we let him in. And so it was going on and communicating with the homeowner all the time. Okay. Okay. Marketing today, this is my next to last slide. Our referrals, word of mouth. Word of mouth is probably going to be our best friend. We do direct mail. We are in the middle of a direct mail campaign right now. Search engine optimization. Many people find us via our website or via Google or Yelp. Networking sessions. Our pricing, we charge a $99 setup fee, and we charge a per visit fee. So, and it really depends on square footage. And so if you have a 2-bedroom, 2,000 square foot condo, it's going to be less than you have an 8,000 square foot single family home. Testimonials, we have no trouble getting testimonials. I don't want to give the impression that we're just have so many customers. We have handful of customers. But we have no trouble getting testimonials. A lot of times our clients tell us, just write it yourself. Just write it yourself. Our customers don't use Google, they don't use Facebook because they're very protective of their identities, right? And so they're not going to establish an online profile for themselves. So, and here's our website, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn. We have an Instagram page as well, but I don't use that as much. So anyway, my focus question or my challenge question, I do a lot of networking, but I'm looking to change that, to become more deliberate, more intentional. Estate attorneys, financial planners, realtors, my question to you is suggestions on where else, right? Memberships. People suggested I join the Tower Club. I joined the British American Business Association, different things. We want to get where our clients are. We all do. And so our clients tend to be wealthy to obscenely wealthy, but not all the time. And we currently spend about $500 a month on marketing / So anyway, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Merry Christmas. And thank you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much. Now is questions and answers. So I ask everyone first to use your business with these 4x6 cards or whatever size, and write name and phone number, email, write any questions, notes, suggestions on it. And we open the floor for questions or suggestions. Who'd like to ask Dan a question? Jen?
Have you approached any insurance agents to understand if having a service like yours could either reduce premiums or just be something they would be interested in offering? And I know a lot of super wealthy people actually don't pay for insurance because it's not, they have no public coverage. Have you thought about partnering with insurance companies?
I've talked to, good question. I've talked to a number of insurance companies, and like and I don't mean to offend anybody who's in insurance. Like the State Farms, all states, they don't offer discounts for things like this. Some of the like Chubb and some of the other, if they insure luxury properties, they're more inclined to do so. And what it is, and I just need to execute on this better. Working with the agent and the underwriter, because initially they say yes or no, and this is kind of a new industry. I mean, if you go to vacation towns in Florida or vacation areas in South Carolina, you're going to find other HomeWatch, much like companies. So around here, they're not used to it so much. So it's just a matter of spending time education. So.
Sylvia.
Hi. So some of you know, my husband was in the military, so we moved around a lot and we had houses all over the country. So in our case, we had a mortgage company, but you know, they were not always like really checking on the house. And that was a big problem because we had 3 houses in Texas and we were here in Virginia, which, you know, we couldn't just check. And then once in a while, you know, my father-in-law would check on the house, and I was thinking maybe military would be good because every 2 to 3 years they move around and it's really helpful.
Good suggestion. We have a client currently who's in the military. He's in Afghanistan. It's a townhouse in Georgetown, and so it's coming back in January. But so that is a good audience as well. And it's just a matter of getting more of those people. Because everyone likes this. And sometimes they all do it initially.
Yeah, I have a lot of hands going up. I've got John, Krista, Chris, Tony, and then back to you. And please limit your questions to thank you and great ideas so we like it. Who's up?
So Dan, a couple of questions. First, I don't know if they're competitive or how you may fit into like the HomeAway and Airbnb framework.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that at all? And
I've had that suggestion before. I haven't pursued it a lot.
Okay.
What I have found sometimes owners are very, very reluctant to pay, or we've talked about establishing the GoldenRule seal of approval for people, places like Airbnb, because that's an idea that it's like, because everyone who probably has ever had an Airbnb or owns someone has had a bad experience. A lot of times there's bad experiences because they show up in places not as it's marketed, or there's not enough towels or dishes or things like that. So that's another area we need to explore.
And the other suggestion, and I know there's some locally, there's some like a local rental agency, and I know that they profess that they do some of these things, but maybe there's a model where you're a business partner, like they're the actual doing portion. You take a slightly smaller cut, you get a bigger network, perhaps that way.
Good idea.
Good idea, John.
That's all.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
And I do have an Airbnb that I rent out, but it's in the mountains, so I would actually use this service.
Okay.
So that would be a good avenue to go. But actually, you don't do any pet sitting, correct?
We don't.
So maybe partnering with people who do the pet sitting.
I've had that suggestion before as well.
Yeah.
It's a different audience. People are looking to pay. It's a different market as far as expenditure goes. But you're absolutely right. I'm trying to develop relationships with different pet sitters because they know people that are going away.
Right.
And most of our clients tend to take their pets with them, or they board them, or they whatever, because they're gone for 3 months. So it is that's a good suggestion.
I think you're up.
Okay. Hey, so question, I guess, for you, which is, what is the average kind of value that a customer brings you over time? And I go to that because in looking at the $500 monthly budget. So for example, if your average new customer or client, however you think of them, brings you $1,000, then that argues that you should spend more to get more, if that's the case, right? So that's kind of a general comment, which is look at where you're investing your time and money, and treat your time in these different membership groups as money, and understand where you're getting the best kind of bang for your buck. That's a general comment. A specific comment is kind of related to the dog sitters is, what about like the post office when people are stopping mail for 2 months, or the newspapers? Is there a way to kind of find out from them how you can essentially get this message?
Yeah. And I don't know. That's a good question.
You'll find all questions.
Yeah. I'm thinking how to find the information out, how things work.
I'm going to rattle a couple of things real quick, but one of the things that you need to do is the people who have the homes that want them sat because they travel frequently, go to where they relax, go to where they tend to, wind down or be entertained. So I know that Wolf Trap is always looking for sponsors. Kennedy Center is always looking for sponsors, and they have different tiers. So if you get into those, same with some of the magazines around the area, like Washingtonian, they have a big real estate section. Perhaps budget some money to be marketed in there, because they will look at those and say, oh, look at this, here's the thing, especially when they're doing their travel issue and, for their vacationing. The other thing is to go, if you haven't already, approach travel agencies. Omega World Travel and some others that do the larger booking where the people are gone for a week to 10 days to 2 weeks overseas. Become a referral partner with them, where it's like they can sit there and say, oh, by the way, you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. Who do you have watching the house? Well, here's the card for GoldenRule, and then work out some kind of an exchange. For every referral they give you, you give them something back.
It's a good suggestion. I've talked to several real estate agents or realtors. I'm sorry,
Travel
agents, and I just need to touch them more frequently.
Because when they're booking the bigger trips, those are generally people who have the money that you know what, it's a quick, simple question: who's watching your house while you're gone?
I recently met with, it's a great idea. I recently met with a travel agent who books, like Viking river cruises, European river cruises. And I've also met with people that, travel agents that do like a week-long Disney cruise. That's not our demographic age-wise, or people that go away for a week at a time, or may not be our, but that's a good suggestion, and I need to follow up.
I believe it's you. To everyone who's raised their hands, short-term memory loss. I'm working my way this way, so I recognize everybody and appreciate. Yeah, I love the smiles I get when I'm here. Go on. Sir.
Thank you. I have 2 quick questions. You're looking to grow. What's your anticipated growth curve? How many new clients are you anticipating bringing into your business in the 2020 timeframe? And that may help structure your marketing efforts. The second question is, have you tested or researched your pricing? And
Great question, because we're the only company in this area doing this, so it's been a big challenge. How to set prices. I mean, I keep raising the price because people keep saying, "Oh, that's very reasonable." It's like, damn it!
when you're talking about your marketplace, there's some. I think the term of art, any economists rather, I think it's inelasticity, right? If you've sold the value, they'll pay whatever it is.
And so, a lot of our clients are in McLean, Great Falls, or Arlington, and those folks are great. They recognize the value and they just pay. And the worst client for us is the one that has a 2-bedroom condo in Florida and the 6,000 square foot house in Vienna. That they have that price in mind, and they don't understand the value either. They may have somebody who just comes in and checks the HVAC, flushes the toilets, and leaves. Right.
So you can.
It's much more fun to have the former.
Oh yeah. And so that will also define your market.
Thanks.
One thing that I wanted to mention that I've heard you say in previous presentations is that you guys also do snow removal, which is important. So if you're still doing that.
Well, we don't actually run the plows and the shovels,
But you hire
but
someone else.
That's a great, thank you, Stacy. We've had clients that they're away, and again, they're not getting Northern Virginia weather, and there's snowfalls. We don't have that many snowfalls in Northern Virginia. We have some, and we had a client a couple clients last year that had heard about snow. Nothing gives an occupied house away than clean, pristine, untouched snow. So we work with plow companies and people to come and shovel and plow. Nice. Good question.
Ayosha.
Yes, thank you, finally. I mean, Tony beat me to my thing anyway. I was going to go along the lines of travel agents, and I'm also going to write down some referrals for you.
Okay.
Have you thought, I know most of your clients are in Great Falls. Have you thought about Nextdoor in Great Falls area? That's a Nextdoor, the app Nextdoor.
Oh, yeah, Nextdoor, yes. We have irregularly done things on Nextdoor.
Yeah, it's good to do it because they have ads coming up. I see it all the time in ADT and all those.
If it wasn't, that's a good idea. If it wasn't for sleeping and family, I would just do all these things.
Sleeping
It is a
and
good
family is
idea.
overrated.
Hey, Laura,
Yes.
you did have your hand up. I think I preempted you, by the way, by the person who asserted herself.
I was wondering if you have got the property managers.
Good question. I've talked to many property managers, and I had one say to me, well, if they have you, why do they need me? And we don't collect rent, we don't touch money,
Yeah.
things like that. And so some property managers will say they're more proactive than others, but that's the real difference, proactive versus reactive. But you're right, it's
Just
another.
one more comment. I have a African gray, and my husband is obsessed about his animal. So we were for 2 weeks out on vacations, and he says if we have somebody who can really watch my animal, that come back to the point. It's so important to have. It's not necessary to take care of the animal, but watching your animal while you're traveling, adding to the point to what you're doing. It's an interesting point.
We've
Support
had
care.
clients that have both us and an animal.
So I have a couple of more who haven't gone yet before I go to the second round. Manager Grickle, sure.
So, it's all good stuff, Dan. I love
There's a
it.
butt coming, there's a big butt
No,
coming.
there's no butt coming, Dan. There is a question. I don't know what you're trying to be. Right?
Superheroes.
Right. And when you start to talk about focus and your growth, you can grow by taking on more clients, or you can grow by getting a better set of clients and charging more for the value proposition, right?
Yes.
We'd
rather do the latter.
Right. So that's point number one. I would like to know more about exactly what it is, because if you're the first person in this market, you're creating a little bit of a blue ocean for yourself, right? The fact is like, what's your mission? What is it that you envisage your company being when all is said and done? Because I'm looking at all these different markets that you're in, and I'm like, the overriding thing is, hey, we come and look after your house, right? But each of those different markets places a different value on that thing, right? I would like to think a little bit more, and you may have this already, you just didn't describe it, yes. But more about what is it that I'm actually building, and who do I see? Who can I leverage my skill and my value proposition to the best person who's going to pay what I believe the real value of this service is? And I'm not sure that you're there yet, but you might be, but I don't know if you are.
Good question, a good statement. We're a lot closer, because when we originally started, we service the Washington DC metro area through a really big net. And anybody and everyone, but so focusing down to those 4 groups, and if fast forward a year from now, it'll probably be smaller still, just because.
Right. Can I just talk one thing on John? Sorry, just
Real
really quickly. If I'm you, I'm going to here's what I'd look at. I'd be looking at CEOs of multinational companies who travel extensively. I'd go and set up strategic partnerships with high-end design companies, people who do interior design. Because anyone that's going to spend $100,000 on interior design on a large house is going to spend the money to have you come and watch that house for them. That's a market, that's a niche that you can go after.
It is another good point. We have partnered with some AV installers and also some custom home builders as well.
So let me, I have a list. This gentleman, by the way, has waited very patiently. Might get the Patience Award this morning. So thank you. And this gentleman as well, and then we're coming here.
Over there.
And I have 2 women over there, and then I have Krista who's next. Go.
So I was going very much in the same line as he went. You threw a very large net. You casted a very large net here. I think you need to focus really on the.
Place your bets, I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Focus on your target, and then they seem to be fairly wealthy, and you have to be in their shoes. You have to go where they go, so you understand where you can look for referrals. Interior designer is a great example, and like he said, I think your marketing budget is on the low end. But it could be good if you do it laser focused. But since you have a big blue ocean to swim in right now, you might need to increase that budget. So you find these people first, and using a social media company to do the marketing for you will be great. Will be worth every penny, because you just don't have the time for it
Or the expertise.
or the experience.
Sure.
Where to focus?
So many problems where it's.
Right, I mean, there's a million places. I don't know, country club or something like that. Naturally, just get out there, mingle, meet people, be yourself.
Speak up.
excuse me, forgive me. You know, visit wineries, I guess, go where folks hang out that have money. I don't know where that is, frankly. But no, one thing I've kind of been curious of, more like moving parts wise, and it's a question I've been meaning to ask you for a little bit. When something occurs at somebody's house, say pipe bursts, something's leaking, you said you have a network of trusted vetted vendors to help with that or to fix those problems. Certainly those folks need to be paid. Is your company fronting that payment or how? Yeah.
Very good question. We typically give a homeowner, I don't know, 2 or 3 choices. Let them make the decision, and we will coordinate with and they almost always do what we suggest, but we will meet the person, like the plumber, let them in, they do their job, we make sure the job is done, and it should be pumping on top water, I'm sure, and not leaking, and it does, we're not expert plumbers. And then they send their invoice to the homeowner, and that works well, so we don't get, we try to make some air of objectivity in there, and plus we don't want to be liable for contracting.
Okay, I still have, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Nice presentation.
Thank you.
The 2 points I wanted to make. One, I've been amazed how community bankers are plugged into their clients. They seem to know when they travel, when they need help, and I think you could be a good resource. I think they're a little more minded to refer than some, and they certainly know their net worth. I've tapped into them a couple times and been amazed by the depth of knowledge they have. But the other thing is, and we've heard it a couple of times, but I want to reverse it, is asking your existing clients who are snowbirds, where are they going, and are they renting property or working with a property manager or realtor there, and working it backwards.
Right.
Because it gives you the opportunity to call the current client and say, I'd like to work with more people like you. And who is the person on the other end in Florida or wherever where you're vacationing? I'd like to see if they have more clients in this area that I can tap into.
We have the quid pro quo ask, it's a bad term to use. we have
How relevant?
Our peer companies, we don't think anyone knows exactly what we do.
Right.
In Florida, for example,
Yeah.
in Arizona, those people, when they leave there, they're gonna come back home or they're gonna come somewhere. So we've asked, we're working on quid pro quos. It hasn't been very fruitful, but we have.
But what about the realtors who do that, you know?
Good thought. First to the nice woman, girls go first. So,
I'm Mary.
hey,
So I have 3 things. The first 2 are a little bit tangential to, where to focus. And the first one is very James related, but when I walked in and saw this, right, I thought, oh yeah, I know how to prepare my home, right? And I look and I go, yeah, I do all these things. And I think I was saying, I'm wondering, is there a problem you're solving? Because there's an opportunity to say, theft is, I happen to be from Great Falls, I don't have 6 homes. But if you're but always there's talk on Nextdoor network of how there's more thefts, there's more break-ins, so there must be some statistics that say overall when people are away, there's more of that. And then along with that, do you need to educate the public? Because I've never heard of it, right? I've never made the decision not to use you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not in my face enough, and I'm not even aware that it exists.
So solved one of the primary problems, because if I talk to someone, they almost always become a client.
Right.
Because they've never done this before.
All those local connection papers, maybe you write an article. Maybe you write an article, you find out the stats, crime is on the rise. By the way, you could always call one of these companies, you write it for these people, they'll use your article if it's a good article.
We have a good idea.
excellent answer.
Good answer.
I'm wondering if you would consider, or do you have sliding fee scale? Because not only do CEOs and the ultra-rich travel and need their homes protected, but people in the State Department or military or whatever. So do you consider that depending on what you provide for as a service to those clients?
So the answer is yes. Negotiate every customer, it's almost different every time. We have a standard rate scale, but it's almost always because they want their greenhouse monitored, which is 200 yards from the main house, or it's all based on time, right? So, but yes, sliding scales.
Excellent. Kristen.
This is along with the gentleman said in the front here. So when you have somebody go in there for the snow removal, you're charging for that, right? You're upcharging constantly.
Yes,
correct?
everything amounts to a bill.
Okay. And that should go up each time. As
I'm
many
really,
visits,
really
yeah.
happy when it snows.
Okay. Just wanted to verify you're upcharging.
Hey, Dan, great job on the presentation. Appreciate you sharing what a great business idea you had. I have a couple, three suggestions. I am not super rich, and I'm guessing super rich people have executive admins. And there are two very well-known organizations that you can follow up on. I wrote them down here. They have local chapters, local events. It would be a good idea if you want to start looking outside of your normal networking activity to talk with some of those folks. Second idea, yacht clubs as partners and boat shows. You know, the Annapolis Boat Show is huge. It's the biggest one on the Eastern Seaboard. Go as an attendee, find out if you can actually sponsor. The third idea is very old school, but you know the neighborhoods where you have your key targets, use door hangers. And then your name will get out and people will know about you. To James's point, right, what's the pain point? What are you solving? And then people will say either they're followers, if super rich people still have them, or whomever will take a look at it, and at least you'll start to get your name out there.
Good, thank you, Rosemary. That card that I left is one of three that we're doing a very focused direct market campaign to Great Falls between some houses in Oakland and et cetera. So, but that's our challenge, just getting more at bats. We came really close to having a professional athlete, baseball player.
I wasn't available.
He wasn't available, but they opted, he was going through some contract stuff that you've probably all seen in the news. And so but that's an audience that we would like really to have as professional athletes.
Tony.
To the 2 points over here merged into one, magazine article and the boat shows. I will tag you and send you the contact information for Marina Life magazine. They're always looking for articles, and that's a great market for you to be in when they go on their summer-long boat show or trips, or they get out of this area and go on their boats down south in Miami. One thing I want to hit on, and this is something for you, it's going to be more of a personal, a more higher lift. Start volunteering at charities like Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Easter Seals, and the others, because the most wealthy of the wealthy, they have family members and them volunteer and participate in those events. They put activities on, and if you're volunteering, you're not necessarily marketing. Yes, it's a time expenditure, but as you said to your point earlier, when you meet them and talk to them, they buy. So you're there in the mix as a business owner working with this, and they ask you what you do. They're like, oh, really? You have a card. Done.
Excellent. Brian.
I think one of the lowest cost ways and most powerful ways to get your message out is to tell these stories on social media and things like that of the leaking water heater and the leaking ice maker line. Like, get in there when you're doing it with video and talk about it and post it and help people to see that it's not just your home being broken into while you're away, but these things actually are happening in the real world. If you don't want that to happen to you, I'm your solution. So be a storyteller and show people what's going on out.
I do that. That's a very good suggestion. I do a lot of that, but it doesn't have a broad enough audience. Right? We have our own YouTube channel. I mean, every time I see one of these things, I take a video of it. Like the hot water tank that was leaking, I took a video of that and posted it to our Facebook page, but it gets a matter of a couple hundred hits, and so I need to work with a company to expand that.
I've got Donnell, then back to Mary, then.
And I'm sorry for everyone, I'll hijack your time.
Okay, yeah, just answer yes, no.
Okay,
thank
got
you.
it.
So I'm really just regurgitating what everybody said, but kind of tying it in a bow for you. So it's problem, solution, hero, right? And your company has to be the hero, but you have to have a specific problem that everybody can identify with. Because if you say everything can be a problem in the house, then there's nothing that can be a problem. But what is the problem that we can identify with? And then there's so many other things that you can add on to that. Like my iPhone does everything, but initially they started out with saying 1,000 songs in my pocket.
And now this thing is my remote. It does everything else that I can do, with it. And so start telling those stories, but in a way of an as seen on TV commercial. And my favorite as seen on TV commercial is a guy, that's walking around where he can't tuck his shirt in, right? And now every time I put on a shirt, I think about not being able to tuck my shirt in. So
It's not the ShamWow guy?
no, it's not ShamWow.
They sell shirts that are not.
So just think about that, when you're talking about your message, and then marketing that message. In your group, it's fine, but you need to go to other groups where your people hang out, And so Facebook has all of these other groups that are out there. Share that video from your page in those pages, and you can win that way.
Good suggestion.
Just following on the magazine, just because you keep talking about Great Falls, there's also a Great Falls magazine. I don't know if you know that already, but I can give you that information if you already have it. Also, silent auctions. I mean, I don't know what one client is worth, but people with silent auctions are always, all those charities, and I can think of, 5 in Great Falls, you can offer to give it. You get one client, presumably you get one, you get 4, right? Because you ask that one for 4 names. So, and that's one 50% off or one free. I don't know. I don't know what it's worth to you, but silent auction's an easy one.
That's a good idea. There are so many markets, as you can see. There are so many soft targets. We just need to, whoever uses it. I summarize it as place your bets. We just need to focus on them.
Remember, you get the benefit of the videos, all the brilliance.
That's why
That's been
amazing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go ahead and tag along with social media, and so video marketing, that's where the future is going with marketing. So I was also gonna suggest, like, for instance, with LinkedIn, there's CEOs on LinkedIn, those are guys that have money, and so if you connect with them and do the videos and just have that niche and just focus on the problem, but have video testimonials. It's all about storytelling nowadays. People want to connect emotionally as opposed to just just print marketing.
And we have lots of
Yeah, so I'm sure you have great stories, and so I think that's huge, is just getting out those stories so that people know you exist.
So, Dan, as I just mentioned, you get the benefit of the video and all the written notes and suggestions that folks submit. And there was a wealth. And I'm sure everybody here is saying, wow, I heard something that I can apply to my business. So it really, while it was about you guys in GoldenRule, it's really about the 1 Million Cubs Fairfax community. Because I heard things said today that were absolutely brilliant, many things. And so to you, congratulations, and I think I'm going to turn it over to Donnell with the most important question.
So this question is very important. What can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
So I think what you've already done is the impact, the input that you provided, and just help me think of things that I have not thought about. I need to boil that down. So I'll probably follow with a handful to boil it down even further. So creative input.
So Dan, this is where you give the guy who moderated the Q&A gift, so thank you very much.
Thank you all for attending.
And pretty much, I think, guys, we're free to network for a little while longer. Is there anything else?
Well, I think we have some announcements.
We have some announcements. Thank you for the tutoring. Would you like to, who has some
Laura?
announcements?
You're MC, right?
Laura, if you're- I'd like now to bring back Laura to handle the rest of the morning.
So our first presenter is here.
Was she able to make it?
Who's that?
Couldn't hear.
Marina?
Past presenter.
She said that she was going to be here, but
She lied.
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have a past presenter. Well, let me tell you this, if you have a striker empanadas, they're delicious. He did a wonderful job. Do you want to say something?
Well, I can, on her behalf, I can, because she and I had a conversation recently on her behalf. One of the key feedback things that she got from us was the packaging. And what she has done since her presentation is she's changed her packaging, which is now flying off the shelves. And as a result, Whole Foods is now expanding her coverage into the stores that she's going to be selling at.
Nice.
So she came and told us that she wants to expand her business, and I'm glad that she took all the advice, and she's doing great.
And she's too busy to make it to see us.
So our next speaker is Share Technologies next Wednesday, and obviously you will be very tired most probably in December 25th. So we will not have a meeting, and again, Wednesday is the 1st, so we're not going to see you for 2 weeks.
Is she here? Oh, she's here.
Speak of the devil, she shall appear.
Run right up. No, you're up. You're up.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me again. My update for the question I had, I was interested in learning who is buying my product in Bananas, so handheld meat pies. Can you come with
There we go.
a twist than on a typical Hispanic food, street food? But I haven't really had the opportunity to go very deep into it. Thank you for some of the leads you gave me. I met with somebody that is helping me think about SEO and how to track that. And then also somebody in marketing to then do an analysis of who is actually this product for and who's really going after it. I've been incredibly busy with other things that just happen to be on fire. They keep on distracting me. So you go to the new local Tyson's Whole Foods, you find my 2 new products that just launched. They're exclusive there for the month, chicken and beef empanadas. And also it looks like I have the Director of Operations, Director of Innovation for Trader Joe's visiting. We might be rolling out with a national next year. So it's good all around. We changed packaging, we had to hire new people. And I mean, we over doubled production and sales since last I came to see you. So thank you so much for all supporting that.
Well, this is just an example. The benefits to come here, so you know somebody that can benefit to join us. If you would like to present, don't hesitate. It took me 6 months to do it, so you can do it. Okay, the next one. So here is the future presenters. If you wanted to present, just go to our Facebook page, to our webpage. Please follow us in Facebook, Twitter. Is any announcement that anybody wants to share?
Laura, so next week, we're gonna be meeting in the office at Williams.
Oh, next week we will meet it at the Office of Evolution. Yeah.
Sweet. Sounds so fancy.
Sweet. Do you have anything, the donations that you need for you?
I'm always looking for donations.
Yeah. Not for Christmas.
Except cash.
No. Anybody has any other? Yes.
Right now we're doing a we're doing a diaper drive for Fox 5 for the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. If you have any diapers, wipes, it's been 20 years since I had babies, right? It's been a while. If you have any stuff for little babies and stuff, diapers, wipes, formula, please bring them to the Patriots Pub and Grill on Main Street in Fairfax. We're collecting all the diaper and stuff from this area in Brandon, DC.
Cleaning diapers. School is holding a fundraiser with partnering with Share to collect children's toothpaste. So if anybody wants to donate children's toothpaste, I will be here next Wednesday. That would be really appreciated. We are donating it to Share, and they will give it to kids in the Fairfax.
Thank you very much.
So this Saturday in Manassas, I know it's not in Fairfax, but in Manassas, we're having a veteran business pop-up shop. So we have 17 veteran-owned businesses that are displaying their goods and services. The proceeds that we have for our raffle that's going to be going on every hour are going to Final Salute Inc., which is for homeless female veterans. So come out and support these veteran business owners, as well as Final Salute. At 4:30, we're having an auction for an opal and a black diamond bracelet. So at least come out for that.
What is the time?
The time is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And where it's going to be?
It's going to be at Jelani Coffee House in Manassas. And you can find it, if you go on Eventbrite and put in Veteran Business Pop-Up, you can find the event there.
Give me a second, yes.
Okay, so just the last call for Friday. We're running our strategic planning session for small businesses. I've literally got 2 seats left I'm trying to fill. So if you're a small business and you're thinking about 2020, and you really should, and you're probably late thinking about it, it's a 3-hour session. If you're interested, let me know, give me a card, I'll send you a link, you can register. But I've literally got like 2 seats and I'm looking to fill it, so.
Thank you very much.
So it's a holiday season for those of you who haven't entered a retail establishment in the last 3 weeks. After visiting the Great Veteran Pop-Up Shop and everybody's great events, if you're still struggling to find a gift for the person who has got everything, Gravity is raising capital or a great gift of equity. I have cards over there to our Week Funder tiles.
Yes, can I mention a charity event as well?
Yes, of course.
I'm hosting a fundraising event tonight at the Kendra Scott store in Reston Town Center. It's a beautiful costume jewelry store and home accessories and things like that. And it's for the Green Lizard Foundation. It's an organization that raises money for people who use bikes as transportation, who otherwise don't have the funds to get them repaired, and to help kids get in, underprivileged kids get into cycling as well. So tonight, 6 to 8 at Reston Town Center, Kendra Scott store, and I'm wearing some of the jewelry right now.
Awesome. Anybody else? Yes.
I've got a couple things for today. This afternoon from 11:30 to 1:30 at Intelligent Office in Vienna, there's going to be a questions and answers expert panel that I'm going to be on with Gresham, Harkles, Reggie Holmes, Sharon Sobel, that several of them have been in this room themselves. We're having, we're the local experts of panels for branding, for your marketing, for your visual identity. If you have any questions about branding, definitely come out and see us from 11:30 to 1:30 today. It's at Intelligent Office in Vienna. And then this evening, there's a Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce holiday mix and mingle, open to everybody. It's going to be at the Old Speen tonight in Fairfax from 5:30 to 7:30. And then next Wednesday is middle of the month, middle of the week, middle of the day, my Fairfax business meetup at Patriots Pub and Grill on Wednesday from 12.
Thank you very much. And the last one?
Yeah, to follow all of that. I'm John with Fish and Explore. We're having our franchise launch and holiday party at the Occoquan Riverview. It's on Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. If you want to find out more about Fish and Explore and basically what we're committed to, you can go on Eventbrite and register. It's free.
Thank you very much. And if you forgot to download your app and don't check, I will kill you. Be sure that you check out. We'll see you next week in Revolution at the Have a wonderful day.